Hello, hello. Welcome to Black Revolutionary Theater Workshops, October 2022 edition, uh, where we will be speaking of Halloween and oral traditions in the Black community. Thank you so much for being here this evening. Thank you so much for joining us. Um, if you are new to BRTW, I just want to let you know that BRTW exists to disrupt any and all oppressive systems that marginalize Black people, using narrative and performance as a methodology to recenter Black people and experiences with economic and social, educational and healthcare, housing and political injustice facing our community. BRTW aims to tackle the issues that impact us while becoming a beacon for Black opportunity within the arts. Melanated Monday is a monthly writing and performance saloon highlighting different themes at the intersection of Black justice and civic engagement. This programming is made possible in part by the support of Brooklyn Arts Council, the Alliance of Residence Theaters of New York, and support from our community just like you. Just like I said before, this month's theme is basically Spooky-ooky-ooky. So let's get into some Halloween fun and also continue a community conversation about the importance of Black oral traditions in the process. Tonight we have three incredible playwrights. We have Tristan Andre Parks with The Waterflower. We have tenor arrangements by A. Emmanuel Leading. And we also have After Swarm by H.H. Heather Harvey. And we have an incredibly talented line of artists tonight who will be helping us bring those pieces to life. I am, and I haven't even introduced myself yet, I am Timothy Craig. I'm partnered here tonight with Donnell Cole Price and Melvin Cox, who will be bringing these pieces to life, and we thank them very much. Without further ado, let's get into this first piece by Tristan Andre Parks called The Waterflower. This work is minimalistic at the root. This is a Southern Afro-futuristic surrealist folklore. Thus, it requires the work of the actor to embody the nature and essence of Ezra and Ezra's environment, how he sees and bears witness to the Odyssey from the moment he arrives at St. Simon's, the moment he steps into the essence of his true self. Cassandra is a woman from Louisiana. She's always in conversation with the deep Southern Negro. When she speaks, it's rooted, deep Creole, and always from a place of love. When conjuring this work, it is the work of the creative community to lead us forward. The work is rooted in magic and the deep South, and again, minimal. I believe in the power of technology and using it as a sole resource to create the images, to ignite the imagination of those who bear witness, especially to the water. With love and care, the Waterflower is yours, beloved. The cast: Donnell Cole Price will be playing Ezra. Tim Craig, myself, will be playing Ruth and Joseph. Melvin Cox will be reading Cassandra. And Donnell will be doing stage directions as well as Ezra.
Genesis. Lie in the creek, child. Close your eyes, and there you'll learn to let go of what ain't yours. There's a burning bush deafening my ears. I've landed near a dock where there's a muddled chuckles, eyes tortured from the rays of the burnt sun. I catch my breath. I look around me. Before me is a whale. A omen is wearing a certain kind of history. She is ancient and beautiful. Her hair gray and thick like a fortress. She dances with this whale with authority. I summoned the bravery to stand and walk near to her. She turns, her stunted face meets with authority. meets mine. I am reaching closer to the well as she purses me with her baritone thirsty. Her beautiful beauty penetrates me differently. Her skin etched with stories, dark, some told, others untold. Her eyes appear to have a kinship with the moon dragging the tide. She faces me once more. You going to Jesse there? Stand there, or you gonna take a drink from here, pal? She entertains laughter, walks over and grabs my right hand fiercely as I tie on to the brink of the shore. Drink. Still, I'm charged with numerous questions, but most important, dehydration is so simple. Thank you. It's the only response that's satisfying. Come with me. You's hungry? How I got here leaves me. Last year, remember standing at the railing of a ship and shooting forward, thundering and lightning. The tide choking me until no other longer could fight the current. The sea swallowed me. With the silent prayer, I swam to whatever shore I could. Braces of water hugging me until what brought me to this here island that seems to be occupied only by the peculiar and assertive omen. This old disturbing mind, and yet she somehow embraced me with the heart of an mundane as home. Come with me. You's hungry? She walks away as if she knew I'm gonna follow her up the mountain of a hill away from the cold shore, and that damn right. I follow her up that steep hills and into the house that is tiny, yet believe this house has witnessed the comings and goings of many. The room filled with the sweet aroma of oils and jasmine. I walk steadily behind her into the house. She walks over to the chimney where there is soup warming. She hands me a bowl, and shit, I don't waste no time. Immediately, I divide a broth and rice, rosemary and jasmine rice, beef stock. She's staring over my shoulder. It's good? Who are you? I feel confident enough to ask. Finally, Cassandra Tresant, sweet honey of the rock. She come and lies gingerbread and buttermilk on the table next to me, and use Ezra songs. You look like a deer caught in headlights, boy. She laughs. You come to do some work? Work?
Yes. You've been sent by the waters to do your first works.
The waters? And where's exactly am I?
Beloved, this here is St. Simon's Island. I understand that you believe that you are heading for another assignment, one that you are trying to escape.
I think it's best if I go. Is there a station there? Her midnight hands. Cassandra.
I'm a seer. You see, my folk is spread all throughout Louisiana. I came up in Lafayette right before my folk traveled southeast and ended right up here in Georgia. Louisiana got laws against folk who practice black magic. My mother was a priestess. She was a seer, could see far greater than I ever could. She often spoke with the dead folk from all over the Mississippi Valley, would come and speak with her. White folk too, to connect with their loved ones. Some by will and others by happen chance. She was a healer, and I've been blessed with that same gift. I speaks with the dead, and you, beloved, possess this very gift. The gift of seeing.
Seeing Lady I?
Your mama's name was Ruth. She worked as a washing woman for some white folk down in Charleston. And you grew up to be her only child. How? My thought whispers, but somehow she hears them. Yes, you and I, kinfolk, and I talking blood either. I'm talking spirit. I understand you were headed overseas, yes, to France, but the water had other plans for you.
Miss Cassandra, I sure enough hate to be rude, but I got to go. Just give me some directions to the nearest station. Joe?
Ezra, where you been? Body still. I don't know whether to cry, run, or hug his face. Maybe all three.
Joseph, what?
Mama misses you, Ezra. Mama said of both my children, I swear that Ezra is me all over again.
Joe, I'm sorry. I was not there for you like I should have been.
Hey, you want to walk with me to the corner store? Mama told me to pick up her some milk and some bread and gave me an extra quarter to buy some candy. Why are you standing there crying, Ezra? Is you coming or not?
Joseph Satter is grabbing my hand with conviction, and instantly my mind and body both teleport back to where I was greeted by Cassandra. I abruptly remove myself from the table where the warm soup has turned sour. The seductive aroma of jasmine rice and rosemary, seasoning now bitter. I pace back and forth, face wet, but this time it's real. The hell is happening?
That's been resting with you a while, boy. That's why you've come here. You were on your way out, but the water called you here, to St. Simon's.
What the hell are you talking about, water? Lady again, I don't mean to be rude, but I ain't got no time for none of this hoodoo foolishness.
That hoodoo foolishness is where you come from, boy. Your folk from Carolina, they all get you. You thought you could run from that? Ain't no such thing as run when it comes to the heart. You carry home with you.
What did you mean earlier when you said I was a seer?
You possess in your mind and heart the gift to witness all that is to come and all that is gone. But it ain't never really gone. It's right there with you.
She places her right index finger over my heart. Was that the dream I had of my baby brother?
Yes. You've been holding that gift for your brother running off and you not being there to save him. Ezra, I wanted to. Ezra, I wanted to. Ezra, I wanted to. Ezra, was that supposed to be Ezra? Sorry. Son, hold my hands.
She demands in a kind and genteel voice. Still, I'm a busy with my own tears and amusement. I hesitate. We catch one another's eye. I finally place my hands on hers.
Close your eyes. I need you to breathe and to also remember. Remember when you speak to the ghost, speak gently. Do not abuse the children of the dead.
Much like the first time, my body travels to an empty dirt road, the road that holds an ancient story where laughter and hardness hold me in the deep. There, I witness a bush, bright and burning with laughter. Perhaps it is the laughter of my baby brother. The two of us always escaped for the nearby creek where Shown Round acted as a holy grail. Perhaps the laughter of my father's inspiration after making kindly with his malt There is a weighty distance between me and the laughing with the fire bush.
The bush breathes. Where have you been, Ezra? My body is somewhere between solid ground and defying gravity. As the rupture of the fire undulates, I walk with an effectiveness towards it.
You come all the way and you don't even recognize me.
Mama,
Ezra, you know you can let go. Let go of your fear. You've always been the one to do more work than what was required, child.
Mama, I don't know what's happening or how I got here.
You've been running for a long time, Ezra, even since Joseph went missing. That's the kind of hurt that no mama should ever experience, nor a brother neither.
Mama, you're a bush.
Ezra, I need you to do one thing for me. I need you to go to the creek where you and your brother would play, and I need you to lie in it. I need you to lie in it and remember.
What are you talking about?
Lie in the creek, child, and close your eyes. There you'll learn to let go of what ain't yours.
What ain't mine, Mama?
The undulating, burning bush begins to contract. I need you to stop running, Ezra, and let go. You got a gift in you, something nobody else got, but you got to face the truth.
The truth of what? The bush is fading. Wait. I feel myself tunneling back in the time from the middle of the dirt road where the burning bush lies and back into the hands of Cassandra. I catch my breath, still overcoming with questions and yes, more tears. It was the burning bush in my mama's voice. Oh, Cassandra does silently laugh. I'm not sure if it's a mocking laughter or one that is serious. Either or, I'm irritated.
That was Waterflower by Tristan Andre Parks. We're going to move right ahead into our next piece by A. Manuel Leadon. It's called 10 Arguments, number 9. The setting is an AT&T headquarters. The cast will be read as Izzy, age 20s, by Melvin Cox. Stan, age 40s, by Donnell Cole Price. Joe, age 50s, their boss, will be read by myself, Tim Craig. And the stage directions will be read by myself. Joe leads Izzy into her new office. Welcome to AT&T, digital marketing family, Izzy.
Thanks, sir.
Please call me Joe. And here is your layer. Why don't you take some time to settle in? Our IT guy, David, was here this morning. He's got everything running smoothly. I'll leave you to it.
All right.
Joe exits. Izzy places photo frames, pencil holders, etc. on her desk. Hangs her Harvard degree. Stan creepily pokes in his head, watching, maybe glaring. Izzy sees him and starts.
Hey, I didn't mean to fire you there.
Oh, no, it's fine.
Just wanted to introduce myself. I'm Stan, next door. In the room slightly less spacious than this one. We'll be working very closely together.
Oh my God, I'm so happy to be here.
Stan is wondering about surveying the room.
I bet. So you're Izzy, the rambunctious rock star everyone's been murmuring about. Were you at another department?
No.
Where were you before?
Google last year, AT&T offered me more. So here I am.
Significantly less spacious.
Sorry?
Where'd you get your master's? Oh, wow, Harvard.
Master's is a little bit down the road.
This isn't a master's?
Haven't even looked into it. What do you recommend?
You said you were at Google.
Yeah, best internship I ever did.
Stan kicks the desk. It's an impulsive somatic response of the scalding fury inside.
Oh my God, are you bleeding?
No, not at all.
That didn't hurt.
No, that toenail was already split in half. Well, I'll see you at the meeting.
Yep, nice meeting you.
Stan limps out. Izzy resumes inhabiting the room, places a crucifix around another Christian knickknack. She puts on gospel music with a soft volume, hums along. Stan returns.
Hey. Hey.
Hey.
So you're still decorating?
Yeah.
Atmosphere is important. Please don't think I mean anything. Just letting you know, just looking out. The pace here is pretty fast.
Well, I don't have a task.
Right. Job security, isn't it good though? Nothing to worry about. Great raises, great benefits. They really take care of us. Business trips have slowed down, but they're so much fun. The travel is really nice perk. They'll probably be sending us out sooner than later. We got Rita Motiques and sorry mass way back in May. So no new cases. Yep. Been here 20 years.
Wow, 20. That's almost 30.
Points to her.
Affirmative. Oh. Yeah, account manager at 23. Is that shouldn't you be somewhere curing cancer? What's your story?
Honestly, I think I did some of my best work in high school. I helped put together an Instagram campaign for
Stan knocked the religious knickknacks onto the ground.
Saw you. You did that on purpose.
Oh, you mean this?
He throws something else on the floor.
Oops.
Flailing arms about, wrecking stuff.
Oops. Oops.
He
Oops.
pushes him away from her desk, throws her coffee on his face. He screams and flees. Stan. Is everything okay here? I thought I heard something.
Stan was trying to break all my stuff.
I was afraid this might happen.
He does this with every new person?
Oh, no, he's just a little territorial sometimes. I see that it's truly bothering you, so I'll go get David.
The it guy?
Yes, he'll get everything running smoothly.
Okay.
Joe leaves. Izzy tries to decorate again. Stan returns carrying a donut with a candle in it.
Just had a little walk with Davy Wavy, and I'm here to present a peace offering. Even though you're the one who gave me a 2nd-degree burn, snitch. Don't want to get off on the wrong foot.
Neither do I.
Here.
Thanks. I really appreciate it, Stan.
The donut blows up. Stan cackles manically. Izzy extracts a Nerf gun from her desk and opens rapid fire on Stan.
This is my office, mine. I waited for it. I busted my ass for it. I did all the work for the last guy.
Ooh, I work too, pal.
They made me a promise.
Stan produces more bombs. Izzy keeps shooting. Joe stands outside the office. Fight, 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 fight. World Star. And that was 10 Arguments, number 9 by A. Emmanuel Leading. One of my favorite of theirs, and I am reminded why. Let's get into our next piece. The next piece is entitled After Swarm. This is scene 7.5 by H. Harvey. The cast is as follows. Eva, read by Tim Craig. Colton, read by Melvin Cox. Gigi, read by Donnell Cold Price. The stage directions will be read by Melvin Cox.
Eva enters and begins hanging tapestries, purposely placing one directly in Gigi's garden. Colton enters. This looks magical.
I felt like it was the time to take the space back.
I'm surprised it didn't feel like the time before.
I've had my hands full.
I'd say so. The 3
Essence.
is eager but undisciplined.
I'm working with her.
And the 5
Kita.
is off.
Off?
I don't like how he looks at me.
He does look. How does he look at you?
Like he's got questions.
He wants to learn from Big Brother. You can't fault him for that.
InDesigns.
I'll talk to him.
See that you do.
And what's occupying your time? I'm serious.
I'm the glue that holds all of this together.
Well, maybe the glue can pick up the hammer and fix the roof.
I forgive you for that. You've been through so much. I need to remember that. He kisses her forehead and then kisses her lips. I can't imagine.
You can't?
They exchange a look. They don't see Gigi enter until
Oh, the hell with this.
Georgia rips down the tapestry in the garden. Colton begins to step forward.
You're the glue, remember? I'll handle this.
You don't handle me? I have been kind enough to swelter what's left of your brainwashed coat and
Georgia throws the tapestry to the ground.
Be careful with that.
don't patronize me.
Wouldn't dream of it. In fact, I'm prepared to take that tapestry, fold it up, and make sure Ness is all of its tappings stay out of your garden. How does that sound?
It's the least you can do.
Fair. Why don't you sit down? I'll be honest with you, Gigi. You seem stressed.
And I'm sure you can't imagine why.
I want to help it if I can.
By converting me?
The Ness is not a faith, Gigi. Besides, you've helped me through my first days here. Can I return the favor?
I dragged you out of the freezing cold and dressed your wounds. I even kept your sidewalk from killing you. What are you offering me?
Catharsis.
Seriously?
That's the deal. Like, what's your name? Simple enough, right?
Huh.
Tell me your name.
Gigi.
Here. Again, tell me your name.
Georgia Christine Breer.
Good. Now your profession?
Ecology.
Tell me again.
Ecology. Ethnology, specifically, bee cultures, conservation, repopulation. Look what it does, this.
Here. Again. Tell me your name.
Dr. Georgia Christine Brewer.
Doctor of what?
Ecology.
Tell me your profession.
Entomology.
Tell me what you do.
I keep bees.
Again, tell me what you do.
I study bees, try to restore their colonies in urban
Why does
environments.
that matter?
To study bees, I like to think that I'm restoring balance.
Tell me why that matters.
It saves entire ecosystems.
Don't break eye contact with me.
Bees are critical to the balance of the world as we know it. Our produce, our...
Tell me the one person your work has saved.
Well, it's not like that, but it's...
One name.
Georgia Christine Breer.
See, you saved yourself. Good. Tell me how. Don't freeze up on me now, Gigi. You're so close. Tell me how you saved yourself.
Everything was so broken. I ran, there wasn't anything left, so I came here.
Tell me what you did.
I did my work.
But it's not your work, is it?
No.
Tell me what you do, Georgia. Tell me why it matters. Tell me how the bees are saving the world. Tell me why that garden matters. Tell me what you do.
I don't do anything anymore. Fine, you're right. I don't have a job. I did. And it was the only thing I had to show for my entire life. I was always in the classroom or in a lab. Friends and families always just disappeared. I didn't even have a cat. But I had my research and I had my bees. I was respected, published, decently paid. And then the nest, first you were posting memes and pity sayings. I shared a few, office gossip, lunch talk, you know. I seen woke to be curious, and then you were protesting and then rioting and then talking about violence against the police, violence against citizens. And it looked untrustworthy. And my cash or interest made me a target. Do you know how many Black women are in those labs? I was a scientist, empirical, not political. And you people politicized me right out of a fucking career. You know, I'm the only person to be fired for a violation of social media policy 2 years after the original post. And so suddenly I'm out of a job. And so are thousands of Black people. Mind you, Biden forges ahead, destabilizing everything in its path. And racism didn't do that. The man didn't take my job. You people left me with a fortune's worth of debt and an abandoned island to fix my reputation. And then you're fucking lost. Where is the Black utopia I paid for with my life's work? Where is it? You fucking bitch.
Now, that wasn't called for.
What is it? What are you trying to do?
I told you.
Everything's a manipulation with you people.
Gigi, why don't you sit back down?
What the fuck is this?
Just an opportunity to clear the air. Catharsis. I'm glad you know better now. Gigi.
Get the fuck away from me.
Eva begins to leave. Then
Almost forgot.
she takes the tapestry.
A promise is a promise.
She exits. End of scene.
Ooh. Again, that was After Swarm, scene 7.5 by Heather Harvey. The cast was myself as Eva, Melvin Cox as Colton, Donnell Cole Price as Gigi, and Melvin Cox on the stage directions. We thank you so much for joining us this evening. We are not finished. We have a community conversation about folklores and oral tradition, particularly in Black communities, and what that looks like. So please stick around as we create more space. Thank you so very much. Hello, welcome back to BRTW's Melanated Monday, the community conversation portion of our saloon. This is a part of the evening where we have a community conversation, and we are today going to open it up to our lovely performers and actors in the room. Not only are they incredibly talented on stage, but they are also intellects with experience themselves that we are looking forward to hearing from. Again, this month's Melanated Monday theme is basically Spooky-ooky-ooky-ooky, with a particular impetus on the importance of oral tradition in our community. When I think oral tradition, I think a lot of things. Oral traditions are a lot of things to me. One of those things is old African proverbs. One of those things is Southern proverbs. One of those things is actually just black theater is oral tradition. Lorraine Hansberry is oral tradition. August Wilson is oral tradition. Amiri Baraka is oral tradition. Langston Hughes is oral tradition. I want to make sure that we can expound on what we feel that this is. It's a telling of story. And I think that for this month's theme, it's more with an impetus of calling up those spirits and what that means to us and how we have done that in our past and how we can continue to do that in our future. Just to get the conversation started, I'll share something personally with me. I feel, you know, everyone is a storyteller, but there are certain members of families that have a storytelling gene. And not only is it for me a gene, it is also a responsibility. I am from a big family, and everybody tells stories the way that they do specifically. But there are certain people in my family that I know that just are the storytellers of our family, and they will continue to keep these stories going, no matter whether it's at like a Thanksgiving dinner or a Christmas dinner or you know, a baseball game for a younger cousin, whether it's at you know, just at our a lunch, going to a lunch, or even just talking in the car on the phone. I have learned that there is an importance of certain storytellers in our family that continue to keep it going, even from understanding it from older generations to how the younger generations begin to tell. And I think that that's something that's interesting to me. One of the things that my mom does, she'll sit on a Sunday and generally her phone is just ringing off at the hook because she's kind of an anointed storyteller in our family. And so she's always on the phone with my aunties and uncles and things of that nature. And then sometimes I have to really understand, it's like, oh, you know, these stories are continuing to be passed down all the time. That's why this happens every Sunday. But that goes from a very personal sensibility to a very large sensibility to even particularly being in a space with Black artists, with Black theater makers, continuing to these traditions of this folklore and proverbs. For example, Tristan Parks's first piece that was read so beautifully by Melvin and Donnell is the exact kind of personification of when theater meets an ancient oral storytelling tradition, particularly that comes from many different parts of Africa and how they come to us today. So yeah, as far as the importance, it's incredibly, incredibly, incredibly important. I think growing up, I heard sayings that like there's like a saying that is called that my family says. Sometimes people say things like, you know, there's two ways to skin a cat, or you know, there's I don't got a pot to piss in. And you know, if I move up here, you know, those proverbs, those oral storytelling, like very small oral storytelling traditions are kind of lost, and people are like, what did you just say? And then I'm reminded, it's like, oh yeah, these kind of sayings came down from generation to generation, and they're very specific to certain tribes, certain communities, and everybody kind of has them in a certain regard. So it is important and interesting to see how we give stories to our next generation, how we share stories with our next generation. And that through line is very important. So it's not simply the telling of the story, it's kind of the telling of the story down to the next generation and how we keep it. And with that, I want to open it up to any other experience or thoughts on why this is so important in our community.
Well said, Tim. Yes, listen, this has been a fun one for me too, because I think African American folklore, it's so important, and you don't understand that. Of course, being from the South, you know, you hear these things, but being young, and then when you get older, and you know, us being artists and us learning exactly what Black folklore is as well, and just what these stories and just what they mean to us. And then you start to connect the like you said, you connect the sayings and how you grew up and things that your parents would say or different things that you would hear, and it starts to connect the dots. But I think too, it just saves like these stories they save cultural memory and history. It's the history. And what people don't understand is like these are stories. Yes, there's some magic to them, but there's truth as well, because there's still it's history coming, from slaves and from our ancestors. So I think growing up, I didn't have that entirety of, you know, you sh- the storytellers in my family. And I think the beauty of it was I just had to sit back and understand, well, who had the voice in my family, who was the matriarch that spoke in the family. And I had to think about my grandmother. And so I think just listening to her just tell stories too, like, because she would tell amazing stories as well. And now I understand, like, oh, well, that's why she said it like that. And that's how they travel too, when you say them, how you connect to the story and how you tell them to other people. That magic and that feeling that comes from that, it helps the stories like take on a new experience. So I think they're very important because it's holding our history, and also it's tradition. Like, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful part of our culture too. So yes, I definitely agree. It's definitely needed more of too. It's definitely needed more of. We need to share more American folklore, Black American folklore. So yeah, yeah,
Right back at you, Melvin. Well said. I hear you.
yeah. I also want to say something about the scripts that we read. I really enjoyed the scripts that we read. And also I think too, the pieces, when I think about folklore, Black folklore and stuff, folklore tales, I think when you read them, you feel grounded. And I think that's what I got from you know, particularly as well, Tristan's piece. Tristan's piece. You feel you feel the groundedness of the piece, and you feel it's kind of like you feel the reverence of the piece. Like, like, just when you hear like folklore tales, you hear the reverence and the command. So I think it was a joy reading these pieces, and it was a joy reading that too, because it brought you to an understanding that, oh man, like, these are really important. Like, it just brought another understanding. Like, Melvin, you need to make sure, like, you're doing your job, like you said, doing the work to bring these stories and in the works to life, and to us, to Black people, because you know it's lacking. It's lacking, but not for long.
I hear you, Melvin. I hear you big time. It is so important. And I think what you just said and what Tristan kind of put so well in that piece is that it is the work. And we hold memories very differently. And I think sometimes we are always creating this linear path when it comes to our storytelling, particularly American and Eurocentric storytelling. We're always creating a linear dynamic. And that's something that we as colorful people have to be aware of, because the way that we are, quote unquote, downloading our understanding of self is not always linear. And we are taught the linear storytelling path very young, and we kind of stick with it, and we create a structure around it, and we create a lifestyle around it, and we create a way of living around it. And then we teach that to our kids, when really our tradition of storytelling is about grounding ourselves wherever we are. And also, that is work. That is work. And so you have to do the work to remind ourselves to not be so linear. Let's be a little more exponential. Let's expand on different other ways, because the way that we tell these stories is not only verbally, but through a very deep feeling. And I think that sometimes that gets lost. And I want to make sure that that we are reminding ourselves, and that's why we chose this as a really important thing.
Yeah. Definitely. Also, too, I just want to say too, you don't realize how important, because kicking off 1619, slavery, slaves, they that's what they used to keep their history, because they had no other way of preserving history. So they only could preserve it in folklore, you know what I'm saying, in the tales and these and so I think about our ancestors too, and I think about how we're living now in the world, and just how important it was for them to make sure the stories carried on, and now we're doing this now, how wow, how profound. And it woke me up, like it really was like, whoa, like the power that's in them, so yeah, really powerful. Good work, guys. Good work, guys.
Donnell, do you have would you like to share?
I think I could share maybe I don't know, just the tail end of this conversation reminded me of this course I took in undergraduate. I was studying sociology at the time, and I luckily ended up with a professor who I was able to take about 3 separate courses by him, and he grew up in like the Mississippi Delta area, and I think part of his dissertation and like within his, like, I guess you'd say uh doctoral studies, we studied the deviations between the different cultures from, like, I guess with the Mississippi Delta, you got Mississippi, obviously, and then you got Louisiana. You go down to New Orleans, there's a whole nother world separate from Louisiana, which also trails the Delta up, and then you get up there to the north, you got this little city called Memphis, Tennessee.
Hey.
Yes.
Yeah, so which is technically Tennessee, but obviously Tennessee is a kind of the geography of it is it's kind of interesting how it stretches all the way over to nearly the coast. But the class just kind of reminded me of just like all of these different folklore languages. I mean, languages that have been passed down for this is longer than our country has even been a nation. So I don't really have a lot to say, except for it was just really interesting just studying the different pathways of where this stuff came from. Families that mixed, and I don't necessarily mean mixed as in race. I mean more so mixed as in like from different geographical backgrounds. Like families from Tennessee migrated over to that part of the country for maybe work or whatever the case may have been, depending on the part of history. And it's just created these unique I don't want to step on any toes here, but it just created these unique dialects within our culture and within our nation as well. So yeah, I found it to be cool.
Yeah. Yes, thanks. Yes,
Yeah, that's really, I feel you. That triad, there's even so much specificity and nuance in the Memphis storytelling, the Louisiana storytelling, and the Mississippi Delta. They're all seemingly in the same region, but they tell stories in very different ways.
Yes.
That brings me to my next question. With oral traditions and it being, around Halloween, I want to bring up how we're telling the traditions now, like things of folklore now. I think there's a movie like Emmett Till coming out, right? That's a new way to tell that story. And because it's such a powerhouse of a movie, big budget, and it's being told, which is a story that I don't know if I ever thought would receive a budget like that.
Me either. I didn't see it.
Yeah, that's a new way to kind of have this storytelling, this oral tradition, because I remember hearing about it in Alabama from family and understanding that and learning about it. And I had to visualize it and understand it myself. And now this new generation of younger people will be studying maybe this movie. They'll be watching this movie in their 5th grade classes or in their middle school classes, and it will become the dominant aspect of that folklore, which was different for us. Movies like Respect, Jennifer Hudson, Franklin is of course a queen, And now the way that we tell Aretha's story will be remembered by, you know, Miss Hudson's face. Like, I think things like that are incredibly important for us to understand, that when we start these new oral traditions, they are, you know, got big budgets, cinematic,
Yeah.
and but they will be used, especially when they're kind of autobiographical or documentary. They will be used to teach our future generations.
Yes.
That's a new aspect of this oral storytelling that we kind of don't consider it because we're so used to, you know, how we consume media and such. But I did wanted to expound on that and ask you guys, what do you feel about how our new stories are being told and how they're being taken care of, versus how we used to all get into a circle and, you know, your, you know, grandma used to tell you about, you know, Steve and Ray Ray and how they would go down to the corner store and get 3, you know, bubble gums.
Right.
And then, like, you know, only 2 of them would come back. You know, it's a whole new world with new budgets and seemingly sometimes in corporate spaces that this folklore lives, and how we as a community should feel about that, and how we continue to make these stories sacred, and how we continue to make sure that we are being educated in the most accurate way.
Yeah.
Well, I got two statements to make about that. I mean, they're kind of more of like the skeleton to this, but I feel like there are two things that pop out the most nowadays when you recreate these sort of films with historical preservation, I guess. You have to watch out for fact checking, because these kids can pull these phones out, or not kids, these individuals, including myself and people that are older than me, we can pull these phones out at any moment and find a real autobiography on that movie and be like, I'm not sure if this was exactly what was going on here, you know? So that's
Yeah.
one thing. And then I also feel like the culture shock of the world that we live in and how quickly it has modernized itself. Here lately, I've been journaling a lot lately, and I'm just kind of like, what's something that's really biting at me a little bit? And it's just like a culture shock of just how quick these changes are. Is a new app or a new thing probably every 6 years that's like they're kind of here to stay, you know? So I think the mix between those two and this newer generation going in to watch those films, I think that's something kind of like lenses they might be wearing as they go in to process this new media or medium.
That's good. That's good, Donnell. I also think too, as well, as far like you said, the newness. I feel like the new folklore, how they telling the stories now, is good, but I do feel like, say if I'm a parent, I'm taking my kid to see the newer version folklore, reintroduced or anything. I have to make it my business to make sure they know the beginning, you know, because I think the beginnings hold the most power. You know what I'm saying, and how they were told. You know, the original tales hold the most power. So even though it's new, it's a new way of showing it, and it's new generations coming. I think they still need to be introduced to the old as well, just so they understand. Like, I feel like you just feel it more. You know, it's gonna hit more. And granted, the new way, like you said, of course, is great and brilliant, and it's going to hit them. It's going to hit them, but they still should know about the beginning. You know how that's how the original
That's
is.
very true. That's
You know,
it's very, very true.
I hear you. I hear you.
Because you can lose them really quickly, you know what I mean? If you don't be like, whoa, 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 whoa. You remember that movie we watched yesterday?
Yes,
Let me give you the birds and the bees really quickly before y'all get caught up in another movie.
yes. That okay. So that's it. Because of course, like you said, we have all these other things and all these other distractions and things. But when we were coming up, you know, not saying we old enough like that, but there were less distractions, and there were. I think we had to listen. As far as now, like, you know, you go to I think the importance of Black folklore, even though it's being shown in this multitude, I feel like I hope that everybody's really listening, you know, because I think this version, if everybody's listening, because this is our history, this is history, you know, that if they're listening, it's going to really hit. And I think it can hit in the right way, because let's be honest, this story has been told. And they've heard about it, but sometimes you need things to be shown in a different way for things to connect in a better way. So yeah,
Nice.
there's just a lot of distractions.
I feel you.
Many.
Yeah, I just hope everyone's paying attention. And in six, you know, during slavery, they had no choice but to pay attention. Make sure we put this in here, because, you know, when we gone, we don't know what's gonna happen.
Bingo, a different set of circumstances.
Yes.
And a different, you had to hear. Yes. What do you guys, thank you so much for that, Melvin. I guess to try to close out, what do you guys feel for the future of oral traditions and folklore? You know, as I've mentioned, we talk about how these films are being made, how these shows are being made. That is kind of where our attention and our eyes are now in consuming media. Let's think 20 years down the line. Let's think 25 years down the line. Let's think, you know, just into even 5 years down the line. What is the state of how we continue to ethically, honestly, and you know, theatrically tell these very important stories of our time, because we're living right now, 2022. There's stories that need to be told right now, and we still come up to inaccuracies of how this person lived. I think about like the movie Harriet Tubman, for instance. Like, for a lot of people, I mean, of course, a very real human being, very incredibly powerful, strong human being, but because her story was told so many different ways with so many different things that were not accurate, it has become to this kind of state of like a faux folklore, when this is a real living human being. And so I guess, what do you guys think for the future, and how we can kind of continue as a community to, I guess, have control, or make sure our sources are healthy for us? I think, and that's the word, are healthy for us, and give us the feeling to be able to pass it on.
You muted, Melvin.
My bad, guys. I think we need more of us to be immersed in it, in the culture. You know, we need more people to be knowledgeable of just how important it is to a community, right? To make sure that what's being put out, yes, what is being put out is accurate. You know what I'm saying? That's accurate. And honestly, too, I was thinking about this when we were talking earlier. You know, and Tristan said this in the bio at the beginning, at the end, with technology as well. How amazing, because technology is amazing. Like, you can do so many things with it. So I think using technology to capture I'm just, you know, because I'm old school, the beginning of what folklore was, and how it meant, what it meant in times when we weren't here, for Black people as well. Just, you know, what it was. I think showing that now with the technology that we have would be something beautiful and paramount, you know, and I think it would be so magnificent to show. Like you said, Tim, when you said, you know, how we used to stand in circles and stuff, and our family used to tell stories like that. Let's do that again, you know, because I feel like you know, we've, even though, you know, like you said, it's easy for it to be misconstrued, and then you turn it into like, so what is real? So it's about connecting to the people that know that it's real, and y'all coming together and making sure that what's being put out is the exact actual fact. You know, I think, you know, that's what I think.
Nice.
Just an observation.
I just want to piggyback off. Well, I already knew what I was going to say, but it's like piggybacking off of that at this point. So good point, Melvin. I was going to say, like, we continue to, how should I say, cherish like past historical mediums such as like books and newspapers. I'll get there in a minute. I'm going to touch back. But then we should also utilize technology to make sure that the facts are checked and they aren't like, oh, a conversation that we have in the living room about a prominent historical figure. There should be some form of technology where we should be able to easily go in and make suggestions so that we can get back to the facts. Like whoever that organization or institution it is that we're reporting this information to, they can go back and like fact check it. And it don't just become like a media PR disaster. Actually, something changes, you know? And then in terms of like the historical sides of it, I think we should continue to utilize books. Like I would love for the world to continue to produce books and produce paper, but obviously our world is not going that direction. But if we are going to produce a book, it should have the facts. You know, I would rather us read 2 books with the real facts than like 12 books that are like, you know, lopsided.
Yeah. Yes, I agree. Because, you know, reading is fundamental.
And you barely need electricity for it. If you don't have electricity or the lights go out for whatever unforeseen reasons, just wait till the sun come up and you got, you know, however many hours the sun is up to read so you can actually see. But you know, you read on the iPhone, you need battery life.
Yeah.
You know, all of the other pieces that can be added into these luxuries of the technology that I'm trying not to complain about.
That's okay. And I was thinking too, like, you know, it's just, I think it's thinking of smarter ways too to get people's attention to pay attention to the stories. You know what I'm saying? Like, even when you're creating one, like I'm looking at Emmanuel's piece. Like I was just thinking about that too, and I was thinking about how these tales, like even Tristan's as well. Imagine just doing these and like little short film snippets. You know what I'm saying? Like just doing like short film snippets of these in a way that will really like grab people to pass it on. I think now that technology is where it needs to be, it's easier to like put out the content where people will remember it because everybody's looking with their eye sockets anyways, you know? So it has to be more visual now. Yeah, it has to be more visual. It seems like everything has to be more visual. Right?
Yeah.
It's all about the image, all about the image.
Yeah, I haven't been to the movies quite much lately, partly because they all shut down for a year and some change for the whole country and the world.
Yeah.
But I went to see, and it was a historical movie. I saw the Elvis movie, and to be honest with you, it was a pretty good film. It was a little bit more emotional than I expected. But the way that they presented the film to us, I hope they continue to give money like this towards production of film, especially of color. It's almost like I was watching a 2025 film, but then there's something that will happen where I'm like, oh, wait a minute, this is the 40s. Like I had to get, like I would notice
I see what you're saying.
The fact that they didn't have like a cellular device to make a phone call. You know, they're having to rush to the hotel room to make a call in the hotel room because they didn't have cellular devices. But the movie was such a juxtaposition of like 1945 and 2025, where it just blew my mind at moments. And I saw it in the theater too. So it was just like, okay, this is how we're making films now, especially post-pandemic.
Yeah.
I was the colors, I mean, they did a really good job.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I want to say
Right, Daniel?
thank you so much for this lovely conversation about spooky ooky ooky and how important oral traditions are in our community. I think that we can get going. I want to say a couple of things here. We are Black Revolutionary Theater Workshop. You can find us at the Black Revolutionary Theater Workshop.org if you'd like to donate. We have a couple of great podcasts that are online right now, and a couple of new things in the content folder coming. For that, you can find us on Spotify, Apple Music, and also Audible at Black Revolutionary Theater Workshop. And playwrights such as Tristan Parks are featured in full length on those podcasts. And we really do urge you to check those out because they are really, really great. Done by some of these great actors right here, Melvin and Donnell. We want to say, again, thank you for your time for being here tonight. I want to give a very special shout out to Dina and Kira. Dina, our line producer. Kira is helping us out technically. We really, really thank them for their dedication, hard work. I know we come to you kind of facing forward here on this Zoom channel, but there are so many other people who are doing what we were talking about earlier, the work. So a big shout out to them. Thank you so much. And I also want to shout out to Mia Kogavia and Heather Harvey. Heather Harvey is writing a grant right now for us that is due by midnight. So she could not be here tonight. And
She got it.
and Miyako had some personal conflicts. So we thank you guys so much for being here. But shout out to those two. They work very hard also. Thank you guys for being here this evening. We're looking forward to seeing you guys next month where we talk about, I believe it's housing justice and understanding why that's so important, especially at this time of year. All right. So I'm signing off as Tim Craig. Thank you guys so much. And until next time.
Bye, guys.